guys, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Shireen. Guys, I'm here today because I'm going to address the closing argument today. Today was the final closing argument, guys, with Johnny Depp and Amber. Guys, this was it was insane. It has been 6 weeks of trial, guys. This is a defamation case, guys. Johnny Depp defamation trial. Guys, this is brutal. The whole situation is embarrassing. I am not even involved, and I'm embarrassed for both of them, to be real honest. They publicized their dirty laundry. Their relationship was toxic. I didn't even know that people live like that, guys. I thought my marriage was horrible, but this beats all. It was a disruptive marriage, guys. It was explosive. It was horrible, right? It was terrible. We heard both sides, guys, both sides of the argument, and you can choose either Johnny Depp side or Amber side, guys, whichever you thought that is more believable. Somebody is telling a lie. We don't know who is telling the lie, but somebody is telling the lie. Who is more believable? It is not about the truth, guys. I don't think this is about the truth. This is who tell the best story, guys. And who do you think telling the best story? Johnny said that the whole situation is insane. It was an heinous accusation. That's what he said Amber did to him, you know. And it says the accusation has gotten out of control. And he described the whole of this as it was horrible, it was painful, it was ridiculous, it was humiliating. He said it was savage, guys. And he said it was brutal, cruel, and painful, guys. This is horrible. This was just a marriage of hell, right? I don't know why either of them didn't get out of the marriage, right? Before all of this, I couldn't imagine, you know. I mean, he said he needs to tell his story, right? He said that, and he also said that he's not perfect. Johnny said, I am not perfect, and I like that, guys. I felt that like none of us are perfect. I never did hear that from Amber. She didn't say that. She said it, yes, but after, right? And she didn't own up to anything. I didn't think that she owned up to a lot of stuff. But when Johnny started out, he said that, you know, I am not perfect. I use cocaine, and he admit, right? He take responsibility. He took accountability for his behavior, I thought, right? So that to me, that was like, it was coming from his heart. That is why I am biased, right? So he said he told the truth. I think he did tell the truth. The whole defamation case is for him, it's about his name and his credibility. This man has been around for decades, guys. And remember, he has built a name for himself, and he wants to make sure that he preserve his name. And remember, he has 2 kids, right? And he needs to leave a legacy for his kids. And it must have been horrible for those kids to grow up 6 years ago and go to school, and people saying that your dad is a wife beater, and saying that your dad sexually assault another human being. It is just, that will cripple anybody's reputation, right? He said he wants to restore his reputation, and I don't blame him. Right? So some of us would sit here on the other hand and think that, okay, they should just let it go. But if somebody accuse you of sexual battery, I mean, guys, I'm telling you, it wouldn't sit well with you. You would want to make sure that you restore your reputation. And this is what this guy wants to do. He wants to restore his reputation, because he was known as a bad boy in Hollywood, and he drinks, and everybody know that he abused substances. But now this woman is saying that he commit all these heinous acts. Right? He beats her continually for 5 years, she's claiming, from the beginning of the relationship, right? So, I mean, he wants to make sure that the world doesn't see him as that person, right? And he had, and we have to admit that he admit to his flaws, right? And I do believe him. I do believe him. Today, when I was listening to the trial, I really get the feeling that Camille was fighting for him, right? She was fighting for him, because she didn't want the world to see him as a violent abuser. He's not. And I personally don't think, the way he presents himself, I don't think he is. I thought that, yes, he have issues. He have a little problem with alcohol. Well, more than a little problem with substance abuse. But those violent act that Amber is saying that he did was like outrageous. I thought that it was just, I don't even know if somebody would stay in a relationship of that sort. Because remember, when women are in abusive relationships, sometimes it's because they don't have money to go. Sometimes they have kids in the relationship. Sometimes something tied them to that person, right? It's always like financial or kids or something to that nature. But this wasn't the case. Even before she married him, there was issues in the marriage. So I don't know why anybody would stay in a relationship like that. It blows my mind away. I just can't understand it. I get the feeling too that Johnny team believed him, right? And the reason why I said his team believed him is because Camille, she was passionate, right? She talked about how disgraceful the whole trial was, and she recapped everything from the beginning to the end, right? She did that. She called out everybody who came and who was witness for Johnny. She called out their names one by one, because Amber claimed that they are all lying. And she says, she's telling the jury or asking the jury to, if they say Johnny is lying, they're saying all these people are lying. So she did that, which I thought that was very smart, right? And I thought that she had a lot of conviction and emotion that she brought to it, right? She and Benjamin, because he almost cried at the end. I had goose pimple when I was listening to the closing argument. I had goose pimple, guys. This was like very convincing. I felt convinced by the both of them, and I felt like they did it from their heart, because if they can prove that Johnny abused her even verbally, she wins, right? But at least I can come here today and say that something has been accomplished here, because men out there who are being abused will know that they can come forward with their cases, right? And they are not going to be afraid, because it's not only women get abused. Men are abused out there. There are women abuser out there, right? At least that will change how people view victim of domestic violence. Depp team is saying that the allegation of domestic abuse doesn't exist, and I do agree with them. They played recording admitting that Amber hit Johnny Depp, so that proved that she was an abuser. That proved that she was verbally abusive to him, and she even admit the fact that she hit him, right? She slapped him, she said. And then Amber, her defense also played a recording of Johnny Depp breaking up the cupboards and all that. That said, so those two things, they're hard evidence, So I don't know. To me, it's like, I wouldn't say 50-50, because Johnny Depp have a lot of evidence, right? Like, people came forward, some good, people came forward. But Amber, she claimed that she had all these evidence, and she claimed that Johnny beat her all these time. And really, we didn't really see anything. We only see like photos of her with just some red marks on her face. That was kind of surprising, I thought that she would have had some brutal pictures that shows real abuse, right? Because if you can take picture of your spouse passed out, and you can do a video of your spouse, you can also take pictures of yourself, right? That would be for evidence, right? So I don't understand where she didn't have our story straight. She didn't have anything, right? She don't have any information. She didn't have enough evidence. And a lot of people thought that her story was a hoax, right? She made it all up, right? I do believe that, right? I do believe that she probably made up some of the stuff, right? Because, like, for example, she said that Johnny Depp used a bottle on her. That seems far-fetched to me. I mean, a man use a bottle on you and you don't leave the relationship, right? That is heinous. Why didn't she go to the police, right? The police came to the house too at one point, and she said, no, whatever happened there didn't happen, right? The police officer said to her, you know, tell us. And she didn't do anything, and she didn't say anything. So she didn't give them anything. They look around, they didn't see anything out of place. So they left. They were there twice, right? They showed side-by-side photo in the closing argument that suggesting that maybe she did fudge the pictures, right? Like, you know, Photoshop the pictures, right? Because there were two same photo and they look too different, right? You know, I just think Amber put on a performance of her life. This is what I think. I think that she puts on a performance. She was performing, right? And we were the audience. And for some reason, she wants to be in the spotlight. I try to make sense of it. It's not possible. I would have liked to hear who is lying, but obviously we will never know, right? But the jury has to decide on who will win. Both of them can't win, guys. Only one person can win. Another thing I should point out is that I like the fact that Camille, in her testimony, she did say that there is only one victim here, and the victim is Johnny Depp. And she also said in her testimony that it is that somebody in this courtroom is lying, or somebody in this courtroom is an abuser, and the abuser is not Mr. Depp. So I like that she pointed that out, guys, and that was awesome. You know I said this before, but when I looked at Amber team, you know, during the trial, and I was looking at Amber team, it seems as if Amber do not form that close bond with her legal team as how Johnny formed that bond with his legal team. So that was interesting, right? That was kind of interesting to me. That means they're not as close as Johnny and his team were. Right, so bond were formed there, guys. I can see that is going to be a bond for life, and they were fighting for him. They were emotional, right? I was emotional, and I wasn't there, right? I wouldn't wish it on anybody. It was good in the sense that we get the sense of what is going on inside, and I know a lot of people thought that it shouldn't be on the media. But let me tell you something. This is good when it's on the media, because guess what? The people speak. This is how sometimes people get wrongful conviction, because sometimes we can't just depend on just a jury to make the decision. We can see it for ourselves. A lot of people have ideas. You know, a lot of people came forward and help out. Because look, the lady that works at the airport, she came forward. When Amber and her ex-wife was fighting at the airport, that lady came forward. And if it wasn't for social media, that woman would have never came forward, right? There's a lot of things. Even TMZ employee come forward and testify that she gave them the video. Basically, she gave them the video. So you know what? There's a lot of stuff in a lot of stuff for those jurors to take into consideration. A lot of stuff, and a lot of life were wrecked, right? A lot of life were wrecked. Lily Rose and Jack. Oh my God, those two kids, I grieve for them. I wouldn't wish this on my own kids. You know, it was horrible. The man's reputation is broken, right? Broken. But you know what? Sometimes this has to be said. Sometimes when a man at a certain level or a certain age, and sometimes we look at a woman and because she's beautiful, because this woman was a beautiful woman. I'm telling you, to me, she was a beautiful woman. You know, any man would want her. She was well read, right? And she present herself like she's well read, but she was a manipulator, right? She was a narcissist. I see that she's a narcissist, and I see that she has histrionic personality disorder, because that's what Dr. Curry said, and I do believe it because I've seen it. She hype up things, you know, like, for example, when Johnny is leaving, she says, no, don't leave. You know, she's actually begging him not to leave, asking him, don't leave me. So it's a lot of things people need to take into consideration. It was horrible. The whole... Guys, all I can say here is that we have to pray for both of them. She's gonna need help. He's gonna need help. He needs to see somebody for his addiction issues, and so do she. She needs to seek somebody help for her behavioral issue. I mean, she said that she was traumatized. For example, Amber said that she was traumatized. I don't think that she was traumatized, because when somebody is traumatized, or when somebody has PTSD, usually they can't get out of bed. They can't function. They can't do anything, you know? Just like people from the army comes back home, they can't work, they can't function. But we weren't seeing any of that. She functioned every day. You know, I wasn't there, I can't say, but based on what I'm seeing and based on what we have heard, I'm just going by what we have heard. And another thing that I thought was important too was the fact that her trainer came out and said that she had difficulty crying at scenes, right? So when she's performing, she had difficulty crying. So she was sobbing, and we didn't see any high water. So I'm wondering, what was she doing there, you know? Was she performing? Well, I don't know. I just did not feel that. I did not feel it. Just like when Johnny team gave the closing argument, I felt goosebumps when Johnny team gave the argument, but I didn't feel anything when she was. I just says, what the heck, you know? I just saw this behavior and it looked awkward. It just did not resonate with me. So I just thought that she made up some of these claims. That's, you know. And I thought another thing, that she did not take responsibility for her action. None of it. She always have a story to give. Did not take responsibility for her action at all. I didn't find that she take a responsibility for her action at all. And Ellen, I must say this, I thought that she reminds me of Nurse Ratched. That is what Ellen reminds me of. Nurse Ratched is like, she's just like monotone like, and she just go in, she want to win so bad, and she will do just about anything. That's the feeling I get. So all in all, guys, they are saying that Amber is not a victim of domestic violence, and that is not her story, right? And they repeatedly saying that that is not Amber's story. And I honestly, I buy it. I believe it. I don't think it is her story. No, I don't. You know, because first of all, she don't take ownership. Secondly, she's very fake. I find her to be very fake. And you know, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. And if you see something different, you know. And I've had a few friends who were on her side, and then after, when they start looking at the video recordings and they start following the trial, then they change their mind. Then the amount of evidence that she is saying she had or what happened to her, she only have just a few photos to show a little mild redness. I mean, that doesn't add up. And then she have all these photos to show up Johnny, you know. So those are things why people can't believe her. And not to mention, remember, she have abandonment issues, right? She didn't want, she gets violent when Johnny tries to leave all the time. And people need their space. You know, people need their space. I know I'm all over the place, but guys, this thing was all over the place, right? To be real honest. It wasn't one thing. It was a mountain of things. For 6 weeks, it was just jammed together. It was just a lot to take in. And another thing mentioned too there, that she didn't donate her money. Right? She says she pledged the $7,000 and then, but she didn't donate it yet, right? And then she started to use pledge and donate anonymously. It was horrible. I mean, how do you do that? Just acknowledge it and says, no, I didn't, you know, I didn't donate the money as yet, right? And, you know, so those are red flags for me. I see it as a red flag. So, you know, that is why I chose a side, because as a woman who have been in abusive relationship, I did not connect with her. I didn't. I felt like she was lying the whole time, and I felt like she was making up the story. When a man inserted a bottle where it shouldn't be inserted, I mean, that's not how you would tell the story. You wouldn't. So I just did not feel it. I didn't feel it in my heart. Forgive me if I'm wrong, and forgive me if, you know, and even if she wins, I still don't think that she is a victim of domestic violence. I think both of those people need help and they should go to therapy, right? Johnny should go to therapy for his addiction issues, and she should go to therapy for her abandonment issues and her histrionic personality disorder and her borderline personality disorder. And I do believe that, right? And so that is my take on this whole thing. The whole thing is embarrassing, but I do understand what Johnny wants to do. He wants to clear his name, and who can blame him? This guy spent a lifetime building his name, right? And the name doesn't only belong to him. The name belongs to his 2 children, and he has to fight for that, and we have to understand that, right? And I'm glad he came out and he told the truth, so that people like me understand, and then so that men know that they can be victim of abuse also. It doesn't have to be female alone. Men can come forward, right? And then with the Me Too movement, there wasn't any Me Too movement. She used that platform. That's what she did, right? It was her alone, and only her. Nobody came forward, right? So the whole thing was like horrible. It was horrible, right? The whole thing was a hoax, horrible hoax. That is why men need to know that they can't just go into relationship. You guys need to know you have to choose just because somebody is beautiful. No, right? Even the guy at the trailer, the Hicksville trailer. Remember the guy at the Hicksville trailer? He came forward last minute and testified. Amber said he's lying. He's lying after the guy saw everything. So she doesn't take responsibility for nothing. Nothing. She's not accountable for anything. And they cannot hold her accountable for anything, because she only need one yes. And Johnny lose the case. Kate Moss came and testify and put the rumor to rest, right? She did. It's all about credibility, guys. This case is built on credibility. I think the jury is going to deliver a verdict based on credibility. If not, right, because it's either you believe Johnny team or you believe her team. And a lot of people testified here, guys. And Miss Heard, Amber, she lied, right? She take no accountability for nothing. And that is what I'm going to say. Anyhow, guys, remember to subscribe, share my video, guys, so that I can be your friend.